What's up, everybody? It's Fat Dad Skates Bad. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today we have a guest, and this guest started his own skate company. His name is Shane, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and talk about his company. Shane, so who are you and where are you from?
Well, that's always a fun question. My name is Shane, like you said, and I'm the owner and digital designer for Great War Skateboards, GW or Great War. But Great War Skateboards has been something that I've been thinking about doing for quite some time. But where I'm from is California. I'm originally from the Central Valley in California, and I moved out here to Texas about 6 years ago. So I live in New Braunfels, Texas, which is just outside of San Antonio. So I've relocated, and now I'm officially known as a transplant here in Texas. I've been told many times not to California, their Texas here, and I have no intentions of doing so. I love it here, and it's been great so far. I would not have been able to start a company in California and have any kind of success this quickly,
Yeah.
as much as I've had here in Texas. So it's been great.
So, what made you want to start a skate company?
Well, as I started this and I really sat down to really think about like what is it that I want to do and why am I doing this, there were two things that really came into mind that really inspired me to do this. I've been sort of dabbling and playing with graphic design and trying to find kind of a niche to fit in. I had done a few different things, creating some advertisements and doing photo manipulations and just a bunch of different playing around with graphic design. And I had started skateboarding again in my mid 30s about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I know something about
And right,
that.
and so the two of those kind of just came together one day, and I was like, you know what, I want to make a skateboard graphic. That'd be fun, just something to play around with. And it really hit me. I was like, this is so much fun. I had a connection with it because I was doing that as an activity, and I was also being able to be creative with my graphics. And once I started messing around with that, I started really thinking like, if I wanted this to go somewhere, what else do I want it to be other than for me? And I started really looking at the costs of skateboards these days, compared to when I started skateboarding in the 90s and the early 2000s. And there wasn't a huge price jump, but I've noticed that there's a pretty big price gap between cheap, crappy Walmart boards and all of the big brands, their boards now. And I really wanted to kind of close that gap a little bit and offer good quality professional skateboards at a more entry level price. Something that's going to be more affordable for people to get into that want to come into it new or get back into it like we did. Some people are kind of turned off by the price, and I really wanted to kind of fill that gap. So those were my two main inspirations: find a good creative outlet that I can use my graphic design skills with, and close that price gap a little bit.
So then let me ask, so the name of your brand is Great War Skateboards? So like how did this whole go from like starting a skate company, wanting to make it affordable, and then going to like Great War and then going down that whole route? You want to explain that a little bit?
Right. Yeah. Great War, it's something it's something that I've been drawn to most of my life, really being interested in history. So if people out there are unaware, unfamiliar, before there were two world wars, there was just the one, and they didn't call it World War One because there wasn't more than one, so they called
Yeah.
it the Great War. And I really like that time in world history, American history, the early 1900s, and I really was drawn to the imagery of World War One, kind of the dark nature of it, the trenches, the trench warfare, guys and soldiers in gas masks, and all of that stuff was just intriguing to me, even at a young age. Like I just thought it looked really cool, and I liked learning about it. And World War One doesn't get enough doesn't get enough attention, as far as documentaries and movies and stuff like that. And it kind of seemed like the underdog as far as the studied subject. So it was something that I was kind of drawn to. And Great War, as the skateboard brand is inspired and themed around World War One, and that's kind of the meaning behind the name. But I also wanted to make sure that everybody knows, like, Great War doesn't mean my brand is advocating for war, or that
Yeah.
my fascination with the name and with the history doesn't mean that I love war and I want to promote it. It's actually kind of the opposite. I really want people to get interested in history, and the more people I feel like that look back at our history, especially when it relates to conflicts and stuff like that, we'll be a lot less likely to repeat some of those mistakes. I hope so. That's
Yeah.
also another one of my goals, is just to get the history out there and let people read about it, learn about it, and just kind of see where it takes them. And maybe I can inspire somebody to learn something new, as well as getting a physical activity to do.
So as like a brand thinking of like I guess I don't want to use the wrong word here, like niching down into like
Yeah.
such a certain area, like
Right.
what do you think's been like your biggest challenge so far with dealing with a new brand, and especially in 2024 when you see huge like giants like Revive like dropping like 3 block, you see guys like Braille, the biggest ever, like just
Oh, I
literally
know.
come crashing down
It's
like
inspirational to me, really. Honestly, like, I know no company, nothing is too big to fail, right? I mean, not that they made mistakes or not that they were perfect or whatever, but it's inspiring to me to be able to say, okay, maybe there's some room for some new blood to come in
yeah.
and inspire some more people to skateboard. But some of the biggest challenges, and you had mentioned kind of getting myself into a small niche for my theme here. I'll give you a little insight into some things that I'm working on. Like, I feel like it's endless, because there's so many different things that I can use for little mini series and graphics in the boards, whether it be different battles, different soldiers, different countries, different military branches, different weapons. But you also talked about some of the challenges that I'm facing right now, that I want to make sure that anybody that's interested in starting a brand in any business or any field, whether it be skateboarding or a coffee shop or whatever, there's a lot of little things you got to make sure you do before you jump into doing this. And I don't necessarily think that that means you have to go and get all your taxes done and your paperwork done in the very, very beginning. You kind of have to test the waters a little bit. But the biggest challenge to me has been navigating those legal and tax and financial stuff in the beginning, but it's really not that big of a hurdle once you just get into it. So I hope that I can inspire anybody out there, again, whether it's skateboarding related or not, that if you have an idea, you think there's a market for it, just go for it. I was intimidated in the beginning, but once I got through it, I was like, I don't know what I was so nervous about. It's really not that difficult if you kind of know how to get some help. And there is plenty of help out there. And I will can speak on that a little bit later. But people are out there, businesses are out there, and organizations are out there to help small businesses. So the challenges I felt in the beginning were more emotional, I think, and then once I got over those hurdles, it's not so bad. My goal really is to try and get is my boards into as many shops as possible, because that's where most people consume their skateboard products, right? Online or in skate shops. And I've talked to a number of different skate shops, and I've had some success in my local area. And I can talk about that later as well. But I've had a lot of challenges with trying to convince people that I'm worth gambling on, because they want to carry what they know will sell, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. But I'm nobody right now. I'm not a professional skateboarder. I'm not some big media influencer or anything like that. I'm just a guy that wanted to start a skateboard company, and I get a lot of, I don't know, let me ask around a little bit. And so I'm used to that. And I'm working past that, but that's been a rough challenge too in the beginning. So
Yeah, I could see how like somebody like local, like in your little area, it'll probably be a lot easier to take you
yeah,
on and try it out a little bit. But I think once you're trying to like venture out of that little circle, it's going to get a little
yeah,
bit harder for
a little
sure.
bit tougher.
Yeah. Who do you think your prime audience is? And but what I mean by that is like, so skateboarding is such a wide like variety of people, and not only that, I guess it's like a wide variety of audiences and a wide variety of like for example, you got transition skaters, you got vert skaters, you got street skaters, you got, guys that just skate flat ground, you got guys that skate curbs. In your mind, what do you think your boards would be best for?
So when I first kind of came up with the World War I theme, and I was going to go with that, and I think of trenches, I skate transition, and that's kind of my main, I would say, target, I guess.
Okay.
Um, the I'm not going for super wide skateboards. I know those are really popular right now.
Yeah.
Um, but the length, the shape, the concave and stuff, is really, I'm thinking more towards transition skateboarders. That doesn't mean that, I would want to not have a street skateboarder
Yeah, yeah,
or a vert
yeah.
skateboarder want to buy one of my boards, because I do offer the smaller width as well. But I would say my main target is probably transition skateboarders, and that's kind of like my company, like a little catchphrase or motto is, skateboarding in the trenches, right? So when I think of that, I think about skating transition and stuff like that. I would also imagine that there's a certain demographic that would probably be drawn to and attracted by my graphics. So I don't have any illusions that I'm going to appeal to every skateboarder in the world, but I do have some plans to try and market and appeal to a wider audience. I've been wanting to do a series based on the women of World War One. I think that would be really cool to do. Um, how important and how much a part the women played, what roles they played in supporting and being active during World War One as well. So I want to do some graphics around that, and then I want to be able to appeal to a younger audience as well. So I do know that maybe some parents might be a little bit more afraid or worried about having their kids with weapons on their skateboards. Like I
Yeah.
understand that. I'm a parent, you're a parent. I understand that. So my son is an artist. He draws, very, very talented, by the way. Um, and so he's drawn a couple of pictures for me, and I want to take some of his drawings and turn those into boards and do like the mini sizes, like 775 and below, so that there can be some skateboards for kids as well. And I'll kind of minimize and downplay the weapon aspect of it, but still have it be on brand. So as far as target audience goes, I want to appeal to as many people as possible. Obviously, any business does, but I want to be able to give them something that they can attach themselves to, that they would be inspired by. So
Well, let me ask you, do you want to talk about what wood shop you use and what kind
yeah,
of
oh
sizes
yeah,
and stuff you want to get into that?
absolutely. So I feel like, most skateboarders, or at least the average skateboarder might not look into those little details, but I think those of us that are really dedicated to skateboarding and are really inspired by it love to hear those little details. And so
Yeah, I'm
I
definitely
use
one of them.
right. It's interesting because you can tell, like, there are some certain brands that use certain wood shops and they have certain shapes, and you can tell that they come from a similar source, right? So I use Point Distribution, and the reason why I chose them and have stuck with them is they checked all the boxes that I was looking for as a small business, a small skateboard business starting out. Um, they're based in the United States, which was a big,
Yeah,
big
that's
check
cool.
check mark for me because not to downplay other brands, and I get it, I'm not talking crap or anything like that, but I really wanted to make sure that I got my stuff from an American company, um, for more than just the reasons why people might think. Like, it's important for the quality of the board, I think. If you have something that's made here and shipped here, it's got less time sitting in a crate on a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
You're going to get a better quality product when you receive it, better turnaround times. It wouldn't matter to me if I could get, my stuff manufactured in China. Let's just use them as an example because that's what most people are going to think of, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter to me if it was so much cheaper. Like, it mattered more to me to get something that I knew was going to be quality for the people that are going to be buying them from me. And I wanted to make sure that I could practice what I preach. Like, I talk to a lot of people, and I am always advocating for buying local or supporting your local businesses, whether they be small or large. It doesn't matter. Like, I wanted to do that. And so how could I then do something with my business that wouldn't reflect that? So Point Distribution has been excellent. I ordered three skateboards last year to kind of test them out to see how the print quality was and the wood quality was. And I mean, I've been skating the same deck that I got back then a year ago, and it's held up well. I don't
That's
have any
awesome.
chipping, I don't have any delamination, none of that stuff. It's all done well, and I've been really happy with it. I haven't noticed much of a deformation in the shape as well. Like over time, you lose a little pop, so that's kind of
That's
normal, but I
normal.
haven't
Yeah.
seen anything like significantly flattening or anything like that. Like I really wanted to test these out. I mean, I'm not going out there skating stairs and rails and stuff anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But I've put it through its course and really tested it out and it's really held up well.
A big concern for me is like I always want to try to support the small guys, but I feel like the
Yeah.
small guys always wind up with like a shitty company that they get their boards from, and it always
Yeah.
just makes me nervous. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Oh,
it's good to
absolutely.
it. Yeah, I'm always like thinking like they're not making a lot, so they're gonna want to get the cheapest board as possible, and then like you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So it's like
Yeah.
good to hear that there's like companies out there, U.S. side, that are like being able to deal with smaller guys and putting out boards. So that's pretty cool to
Right.
hear. So let me ask you, what sizes do you have?
So I have kind of the three what I consider and I think most people would consider as the more common sizes. So I have 8 inch, 825, and 8.5. Those are the three sizes that I currently offer. Do have plans in the future, like I said, to try and get some of the smaller ones to do for kid sizes and stuff like that. But even before I get there, I am kind of toying around with the idea of getting into the 9 inch range. But for now, I'm gonna stick with those three sizes for right now for the immediate future. They work well with the designs that I've created already, and um, stretching certain graphics don't always work out too well if you've ever
Yeah.
tried to resize something if it's not the right ratio. So I think if I do go into the larger 9 inch ranges, I think I'm going to do a special series for those,
Okay.
um, and then kind of put out some feelers and see if people are interested in the wider ones. But currently, 8.25, and 8.5 are the sizes, the widths that I have.
Yeah.
The length for the 8 inch is just under 32, so it's 31 and three quarters, or just a little over 31 and three quarters long.
Okay.
The 825 and the 8.5 are similar and are the same length at they're 32 and a quarter.
Okay.
The wheelbase for the 8 inch is 14, and then the wheelbase for the 825 and 8.5 is 14 and a quarter.
Okay.
So they're all relatively similar. They all have a traditional popsicle shape, the traditional skateboard. They do have a more pronounced nose, and a little bit softer of a tail, and they're all steep. They're all steep concave, and
Okay.
that's what I have come to like, and what the research that I've come to find out is more more appealing for transition skateboarders because it provides you a little bit more stability with your feet. You have a little bit more grip kind of going both ways. I've tried both. I like a steeper deck. Even when I'm skating flat ground or park or something like that, I like to feel like I get more pop out of that. And I know there's a lot of people that say that you get a better ollie with a more mellow shape. I don't find that to be true personally. Not that that's not true, but for me, it didn't change much of anything. I like a steeper deck. I feel more comfortable on that. So that's what those shapes are. That doesn't mean that they might not. I might not offer others in the future, but right now they're steep concave with a steep nose and tail. I think we've seen a trend towards transition and other types of skateboarding where it was really popular to just do street skateboarding, back in the day. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what everybody was doing, and overt skaters and all trend. It was just kind of it was a almost like a rivalry. Like
Yeah.
if you were a street skater, you're a street skateboarder, and that was popular. And but I think we've really seen the skateboarders really diversify kind of what they like to skateboard and how they like to have fun with it. And I chose transition skateboarding as I got older because it was easier on my body. I wasn't having to
Yeah.
worry about riding around town. And like I said, I'm not skating stairs and rails and all that stuff anymore. I don't have it in me to do that anymore. And as you get older, you have a little bit more to worry about, job and kids and family and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you can definitely get hurt skateboarding transition and vert. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was less impact. I feel like a little bit
Yeah.
more mellow, can cruise and have a good time and still do some tricks and have fun with it. So, but what I was going to say was, even when I switch from 825 and 8.5, like I kind of bounce between the two of those. It takes me a while to get used to it again. Even if I've been doing it for even just a couple of months, even that quarter-inch difference in width, it feels completely different. So I can only imagine going from what width are you skating now?
Like a 9.5.
Yeah. Yeah, going to 9.5 to 8.5 has got to be like night and day, like
Yeah,
walking
it's
on the moon
rough.
and walking on Earth.
Well, I was skated 875 forever. And then
Yeah.
I went up to like 9, and then I went up to like, and I kind of float around. So I'll skate anything like 875 is like the lowest I'll go. A5 is just like a little too. And honestly, it's just because I have such big feet, I think. Like
Oh yeah.
so much of my foot is hanging off that board.
Yeah.
But like I could get used to anything, and like with enough time, it'll just become natural. And that's what I'm starting to
Oh yeah.
realize with skateboarding. Like anything you skate for long enough, if you go and like try something else, it just feels foreign and weird at first. So I think that's like a really good range that I think most shops are gonna carry, and most
Yeah.
people are gonna skate for sure.
I think
But
I look at the other in between sizes and it just bothers me a little bit because it's not like an even number. I'm like 838. What is no? I
oh
want eight
yeah,
825 8.5.
I think there's like an
And
818 now or something weird
yeah,
like that. I saw.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's some
n-
crazy sizes out there now. People are getting super particular. All right, Shane. So what is your favorite graphic that you have out so far?
well, so to be perfectly honest, as a creative person, every time I make one, it's my favorite for that moment, right? So I'll finish creating a graphic, and it's my favorite for that moment. But looking back at all the ones that I've put together, the very first one that I made is my favorite. Um, it's um, it's the assassination board, and it has an old World War I time period newspaper headline as the background that says, assassination may lead to war, talking about the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And then over that, the foreground, the main portion of the graphic is a World War I trench knife, and it's actually I took a photo of an actual trench knife that I have that I've collected, and I put it into Photoshop and I manipulated it a little bit, made it look a little bit more little not like cartoony, but a little bit more of like a graphic, and then I put the name over it, and so that's to me was my very first one, so it's my favorite. And I do have one right here, and this is you can see with the
Yeah, it's a
glare,
rad
you can
looking
see
graphic. I
the
like it.
yeah. So it's got the newspaper in the background, and then the trench knife there in there
That's
as well.
definitely
So
cool.
that's my favorite one, and then just for sentimental reasons. But as far as colors and the amount of time and something that I created, one that's called Tanked, and it's the main graphic is a World War I Mark IV tank that I painstakingly created in Illustrator piece by piece and line by line, and then colored it all. And my favorite portion of that graphic is again the time that it took to make the tank, but the background is, it's it's a really cool purple background with these bright green craters, from the bombs that are coming down from the sky. And it's all, anyways, it all came together, and I love the colors of that one as well. But my absolute favorite is my assassination deck. So that's my baby. That's my first one.
I think my favorite graphic that I saw yours was like the submarine. And it's
Oh yeah,
probably just because I'm a dork and I'm from Connecticut. So we have like the Groton sub base. So I just always thought submarines look so freaking cool. And I really like
they do.
the graphic of it on the skateboard. I thought that was really freaking dope. I really like that one.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that one's really cool. It was a lot of fun to make. In the early part of me doing the designs, I was doing a lot of stuff in Photoshop and then some stuff in Illustrator, and I kind of evolved to doing more and more in Illustrator and more kind of 2D cartoonish, not goofy cartoonish, but more of a cartoon 2D style. And that was one that I really liked because I did the World War I submarine, and then kind of a blurry over it so it looks like it's underwater, and then I made each of those the little underwater bombs. I made each of those in Illustrator. It was really fun to compile, and that's actually I think one of my son's favorite ones, and I actually have that one, an example of that one I can grab really quick, so if you guys want to see it. This is a 8-inch version. I got this one from my son, and it's got the submarine on there. I don't know if it translates well over the camera, but got the big
Uh,
old submarine on
I
there.
think that's badass. I like that one the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah,
That's my
it's a
favorite
little
one.
Yeah, I never did skate this one because I wanted it for my son, but I got it in an 8-inch example to see the different widths and stuff like that. But the one that I'm currently skating is it's got the it's the Mark II Grenade, and it's got the kind of purple and orange background and stuff like that. And that was one of my favorites as well. But number one favorite, the first, the only, my baby, the Assassination Board. So
All right, cool. So I guess one more question I'll ask with that is, how can we get one?
so there's a couple of ways you can get it. I do sell through Facebook and Instagram. They have
Okay.
their own kind of store. And then I also have my own online store as well. So I can share those links with you at the end. If people want to see it, hopefully they'll be on this video. But my Instagram is pretty simple. It's just Great War, all one word, underscore, and then skateboards. And
All
then
right,
there's links
cool.
to that stuff as well.
Yeah, I'll take links from you and I'll throw them all at the bottom of this video for anybody that's watching, anybody that's interested. And I guess one last question I'll leave you with is anyone you want to thank or anybody that has helped you along the way?
Absolutely. I really have to start off with thanking my family. You know, my wife and my son have been really supportive of me in my creative venture, and putting up with the late nights of working on graphics and figuring out marketing, and just being patient with me overall as I kind of navigate this new venture. I wouldn't be able to do it without their support and their encouragement. Really, it's not just being there and saying it's okay. It's like really encouraging me, if I get discouraged, or even if I'm really excited, just having someone there um to bounce ideas off of. My wife is my universal editor. She looks at all my graphics and gives me pointers, and she's a really good set of eyes for that, and I can't thank her enough for that. And my son is just, he's awesome. He's excited about a lot of things, and I like to show him things, and I kind of gauge his reaction on it, whether it's good or not. Like he's like, oh, and he gets excited or surprised. I'm like, okay, it's a good one. So definitely the wife and son for sure. And then one big supporter that I really want to make sure that I shout out is his name is Marco Polo, believe it or not. But Marco Polo is the owner of the New Braunfels Skate and Smoke Shop here in New Braunfels, and he's been an awesome support for me. He is carrying my boards and selling my boards at his skate shop, and the fact that he was willing to talk to me, give me information, and be supportive, and then turn around and purchase boards to sell at his shop, just it really meant a lot to me, and I really think that he's really done inspired me a lot to continue to go forward and reach out to other shops as well. And then one last person slash business is it's called Spark. It's an acronym. It's the Spark Small Business Center here in New Braunfels. They are a offshoot of UTSA, which is a college in San Antonio. Their small business center, the SBC, and Ron at Spark. Meeting with him and doing small business counseling and having him kind of help me navigate those anxieties and those feelings ahead in the beginning and really kind of point me in the right direction. Um, Spark has been just phenomenal and helpful. And I'm sure there are those types of organizations anywhere in this country, different states, different towns and stuff. So if you are thinking of starting a small business, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to organizations like that, because that's what they're there for. And a lot of them are free. This one is free. And they have so many resources at their disposal. And it really made the difference for me in being able to carry forward and find some success. So,
Is there anything else you want to bring up or go over?
honestly, I just want to make sure that I make a point to remind everybody that my goal for this is to make sure that I get as many people interested in skateboarding as I possibly can influence. That might be a small reach, it might be a larger reach one day, but I want to inspire people to have good physical outdoor hobbies as much as possible. Those are few and far between anymore, but it's healthy. Um, and really to spread the word of history, to as many people as possible. And um, I'm toying around with the idea. I haven't fully formed this thought and idea all the way yet, but I'll give you and your viewers a little peek. Um, I've been considering putting like QR codes or information that links to other YouTube channels or other YouTube videos or informational pages about kind of the inspiration from each graphic. So, for example, like the submarine, there would be a link to an article that kind of explains it. Or there's a great channel on YouTube that does all World War I stuff, and something like that. So, like, I want to again practice what I preach and put out there. If I want people to get inspired by history, I really want to make sure that I can inspire as many people as I can in those areas, and just see people be happy and succeed and find something fun to do with their lives. So,
That sounds pretty cool. I never would have even thought of that to get a history lesson from my skateboard.
right.
Well,
I don't
that
want to
is
lame it
pretty
up too much, but
cool.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm a history nerd for sure, so I'd actually definitely be into something like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess the final thing we'll leave with is I guess we're doing a giveaway.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody's been waiting for. So you have 3 designs that you're stocking right now, and people can also choose between an 8-inch, 8.5, and 8.25. I think the easiest way to go about this is to have people send you a screenshot of following your Instagram page. And I want everybody to know
Yep.
that I'm going to have the link at the bottom of this video. Also, they can just follow you at actually, is it Great War Skateboards, all one word? Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's at Great War underscore skateboards, and that's on
Okay.
Instagram.
So I hope everybody heard that. It's super simple. Follow his Instagram page, send a screenshot of the Instagram page to him, and I'm gonna enter your name. Shane's gonna give me all the names between whenever this video hits. I'm gonna give it 7 days for people to enter the contest, and then for everybody that enters, unfortunately, you have to be continental US because we can't do international shipping because we can't afford it. So continental US, I'm sorry. I have a lot of people that watch in the UK or Australia. Unfortunately, it's going to be continental US, but um, go follow Shane, Great War Skateboards on Instagram. Um, I have the link at the bottom of this video. And then what we're going to do, take a screenshot of you following his page on Instagram, send that screenshot to Shane, and that's going to get you entered. So from the moment this hits to 7 days is the time frame for you guys to enter. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to Shane or to reach out to me on YouTube or on my Instagram page. Um, Anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
What designs?
If they want to see the graphics, well, when they enter or after they enter, if you go to my Instagram page on the story highlights, there is a little circle there that says available decks. You can click on that picture and it'll go through the 3 different pictures on there, and it'll show you the different graphics. You can scroll through my Instagram feed as well and look at all those, but those are the 3 specific graphics that I have available right now.
I guess I'll leave a link at the bottom of this video to your Instagram page, and then I'll also leave a link to your store, your online store as well, so they can go on there and look through everything you got as well. And is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, also on the online store, if you click on shop current series, that'll also show you those 3 graphics that are specifically stocked right now as well. But yeah, like you said, if there's any questions, you guys just want to reach out for any reason, you can also message me on Instagram for any reason. I respond pretty quickly, so feel free to reach out.
All right, sounds good. So I just want to tell everybody, support a small company, support an American-made board. To me, I think that's freaking huge and super epic. And I really appreciate all the time that you've given us, Shane. And thank you for coming on the channel, let me interview, and I wish you all the best. And for anyone that has any questions, I hope this didn't come off too confusing with the giveaway. Feel free to reach out to me or Shane, and we'll be more than happy to help. And I guess that's about it. So Shane, hope you have a good night. Thank you so much for coming on and bullshitting for a bit, and wish you all the best with your company. And I guess it's about it.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much. See you, man.
See ya.